Alright, so today we're going to be going over how to install IBM QRadar SOAR 50 on a Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8 machine. I'm going to be using a run file today, so we're going to go ahead and just create a new virtual machine. So that's what you see me doing over here now in my environments. So I'm just kind of selecting my data store and doing all that stuff here. I'm going to label it as a RHEL 8 machine. Click next. I'm going to set my CPUs for 4 and memory for 16 gigabytes, and I'm going to put 100 gigs on the disk. And then of course I'll select my network and then go ahead and throw Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8 in the DVD drive here. So I accidentally selected the wrong data store. There we go, it's in storage 5. So we're going to go ahead and drop down the ISO section. I have tons of ISOs in here. Pull over to the RHEL one, and we'll go ahead and find RHEL. I have RHEL 8.8 in here, so we want that for x86 64. So go ahead and click OK on that. And let's connect that device, finish it up, and start the virtual machine. Alright, so let's just go through all the prompts that we have to go through to create a new virtual machine, new RHEL 8 machine. So I'm going to select install RHEL 8.8 here, and we'll let this boot up and bring us over to the nice installation UI that you get when you're trying to create a new RHEL machine. I'll show you all the settings that I'm going to put in here to get started. So I'll just wait for this to boot. Almost done here. Alright, so I'm going to select English as my language. Going to continue forward. I'll select my installation destination, so that'll be SDA. It's the only disk that's on here. That will be good enough. My software selection, I do not want the server with the UI. That's too much going on. We don't need that, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on plain server here. You can obviously put whatever software packages that you might want for whatever reason on here as well, but just a plain server is good enough. And we'll go ahead and create a root user password. And that looks like a good password, so we'll just go ahead and keep that one. Alright, we'll click done, and I'll begin the installation. I'm going to cut this clip while this is installing. We'll come back when it's all finished up. Okay, so we're finished installing. I'm going to log in as the root user onto this plain RHEL 8 box. And I don't have my network adapter connected up, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that really quick now. So I'm just going to open up the network scripts file for ENS, I believe it's ENS 33, right? Yep. And I'm just going to change my on boot over to yes and reboot the machine, and then again come back when this is all done and the IP address is up and running. Okay, so let's go ahead and start RHEL 8. Log back in as the root user. Alright, perfect. So now I have an IP address in there. That's what I want. Okay, so The next thing that I'm going to do is I already have my run file downloaded onto this machine. I tossed it into this resources folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and you can see there that I have the run file from IBM Fix Central. I'm going to use SFTP. So SFTP, the user at the IP address. So the same way that you would SSH into a box if you haven't used SFTP. It's just a simple way to get some files over to another machine if you haven't used this before, if you'd like to use something else. So I'm just going to go ahead and log into the machine using SFTP, and we'll use the put command to put the SOAR 50 run file onto the RHEL box. And I'm going to cut this clip and come back when this is done uploading because it will take a minute. Okay, so we're all done uploading the run file, and now what I'm going to do is SSH into the actual RHEL 8 box, and we're going to go ahead and follow through all the prompts here in the documentation for installing the IBM QRadar SOAR platform. It's pretty simple copy and paste, but first I need to subscribe this machine to Red Hat in order to have access to the repositories. So I'm just going to go ahead and subscribe this machine really fast. And while this machine is subscribing, as you can see here, the system hostname is localhost.localdomain. I actually don't want it to be that. I'm going to go ahead and change that as well afterwards. So I'm going to use the hostname CTL command to change the hostname of this machine, and then we'll confirm that that's exactly what has happened. Make sure that that change has gone through, and then we'll proceed forward with the installation. So let's just go ahead and wait. It should only take another second for the subscription manager to finish registering with Red Hat. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that hostname CTL command, set-hostname if you haven't used it before. SOAR50 dot, I'm going to say that wants to be IBM security dot local. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and check that hostname now. You just type in hostname, you'll see the hostname. There you go. All right, so now it's time to begin following through with running all the commands that you see in the documentation. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip over to the documentation and begin to do that. A little bit of a lag here. There we go. Okay. So first is to make sure that we have wget on the machine so we can reach out and download different files that we need. We'll wait for this package to finish installing. Shouldn't take that long. None of this should take that long. And then we're using Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8, so make sure that you're staying in your zone here if you're using RHEL 7 or 8. And it really is just copy and paste from here if you're using a fresh RHEL box. We're going to install the different utilities that we need. And then we want to install that create repo. So let's just go ahead and wait for the last RPM to finish. There we go. So we need to enable the RHEL 8 RPM here, and then when that's all done, we can go ahead and install that create repo package. It just takes a second to do. Okay, excellent. Next is the firewall. So take note that we need port 65000. So 65,000, 65,001, and 443 opened up for us to be able to use the SOAR software properly. So just take note of that. And now all we have to do is just run that run file using the bash command. So I'm already the root user, so I'm not going to use sudo in any of these commands that I'm typing out myself. I'm just going to go ahead and bash SOAR run. So okay, so while this is installing, I'm just going to cut the clip and come back when it's finished. It takes